Committee and recommendations in highway planning. So JCAR Committee recommendations. JCAR Committee recommendation. First recommendation given by the JCAR Committee in the year 1927. It is formed in the 1927. What is the first priority is going to be given is going to be called as road development. Road development as a national interest. Road development as a national interest is going to be the first priority is going to be given for the JCAR Committee. Then the second, the recommendation given by the JCAR Committee is going to be called as the tax levied on petrol. So on petrol, the tax is going to be provided, the tax levied on petrol. So that is going to be called as road development fund. Constituting as a road development fund. Constituting as a road development fund. Whatever the petrol we are going to be using for the roadway vehicles, so we are going to be putting the tax onto the tax on petrol, such that whatever the amount that we are going to be collecting from the petrol road users, that we are going to be constituting as a road development fund. So a separate fund is going to be created for the development of the roads. So that is going to be initiated by the Central Road Fund. Central Road Development Fund. In the year 1932. Sorry, in the year 1929. In the 1929, so the Road Development Fund is going to be called as Central Road Development Fund is constituted in that Central Road Development Fund. So they are going to be collecting the tax from the petrol, then that we are going to be using for the various road constructions in India itself. Various types of the roads or various categories of the roads that is going to be constructed, whatever the amount we are collecting from the petrol. So that is known as the Central Road Development Fund. In the year 1929 is generated, from there it is going to be started, and they are going to be using for the various road construction purposes. That is, tax is going to be levied on petrol. And what is the third recommendation? This is the second recommendation, and third recommendation is going for develop or constituting a semi-technical body to know technical semi-technical body to generate and to pool the technical consultations. Technical consultation and specifications. Specifications throughout the country so developing the semi-technical body. So that is going to be called as the technical consultation specifications organization is going to be developed. So they are going to be giving the recommendation that one organization, so semi-technical organization has to be formed to know that the technical specifications and to go for the various constructions of the road development. So that is in terms of IRC. So that is in the year 1932. IRC is going to be developed in the year 1932. So with the JCAR Committee recommendations, 1927 JCAR Committee, 1929 Central Road Development Funds. Then after that IRC. So Indian Road Congress. Indian Road Congress is going to be called as central government organization. So what is the objective of this central government organization, Indian Road Congress? IRC is known as the Indian Road Congress. IRC, Indian Road Congress. Indian Road Congress. What is the objective of the Indian Road Congress is that throughout the India, wherever in any place in India, the road is going to be constructed. What are the specifications for the material, specifications for the methodology, each and everything they are going to be tabulated, and they are going to be preparing that the standards. We can say that the standard specifications is going to be prepared by Indian Road Congress. Indian Road Congress. So that is the objective of the Indian Road Congress. They are going to be standard procedures and standard specifications is going to be developed by the central government organization IRC. Indian Road Congress is going to be formed with the JICA committee recommendations. The last recommendation is going to be given by another one is going to be called as Central Road Research Institute. JICA committee is going to be recommended that one research organization, CRI is going to be called as a research organization. Central Road Research Institute. CRI is going to be called as Central Road Research Institute. Central Road Research Institute. The Central Road Research Institute is the research organization. This is the following the recommendations of JICA committee. JICA committee is going to be given the recommendations that one research organization, in addition to that, the Indian Road Congress. So that is going to be called as standard specifications, standard procedure organization. In addition to that one, so they want to prepare the specifications or standard procedures. So first they have to do that the research. Where they have to do that the research? The research is going to be done in the Central Road Research Institute, CRRI. So there is a research organization coming under the CSIR. So coming under the CRRI, coming under the CSIR labs. So that is the CSIR is the Council of Scientific, Industrial, Research Labs. CSIR labs throughout the India, we are having with the various names. In that way, one name is going to be called Central Road Research Institute. Another one is going to be called NEERI. So Nagapur Environmental Engineering Research Institute. That is completely for the water and environmental engineering related to the water and sea waste research is going to be taken place. Is called NEERI. So these are all going to come under the CSIR labs. So Council of Scientific and Industrial Research under the name of the CRRI, Central Road Research Institute, constituted in the year 1950. In the year 1950. So what is the objective of the CRRI is that they are going to be doing the research. Whatever the specifications they want to develop, specifications that they want to develop, and the procedures they want to develop for a new type of the roads. First, they have to do the research. Once we are able to get the positive results from the research and positive result, then there are going to be preparation of the specifications, preparation of the procedures, preparation of the standard procedures is done in the IRC, Indian Road Congress, and they are going to be preparing the standard books. So that is we are going to call as codal provisions or the code books. They are going to be prepared. Code books are going to be prepared by Indian Road Congress. So what is the code book is going to be giving you that importance is going to be given that the standard specifications and standard procedures throughout India will be the same one. I want to construct a road, the bitumen road. I want to construct cement concrete road. The standard procedures will be same one. Procedure will be the same one. Specifications will be same one throughout India where they are going to be constructed. So that is the policies, procedures, and the specifications that is going to be developed by in terms of the code book that is going to be done by prepared by the Indian Road Congress with the help of Central Road Research Institute. So that's why we can say that JICA committee recommended that first one is going to be called as first priority is going to be given for road development as a national interest. Second one is going to be called as tax is going to be levied on petrol. Is going to be creating that one revenue that we are going to call it as Central Road Development Fund. Then third one is going to be called as the formation of Indian Road Congress. for the standard specifications and standard procedures. And fourth one is going to be called as one research institute will be needed. So to develop the research, to develop the new technologies and new researchers, that will be to prepare that the standard procedures and as well as the standard specifications for the Indian Road Congress, or we have to prepare a code book. So this is taken place with the help of CRI. So this is the JICAR committee recommendations. So in the year 1927, they started, and the stage by stage development of the road. Then then they are going for the tax. Then the Indian Road Congress is developed. Then CRRI. After that, National Highway Authority of India (NHAI) also is going to be developed. So after 1950, so CRI started in the year 1950. After 1950, National Highway Authority of India is going to be responsible for construction of highways, national highways throughout the India. So they are going to be giving that the specifications and procedures by the National Highway Authority of India. They are maintaining the standards with the help of Indian Road Congress. So one body is going to be is formed as National Highway Authority of India, responsible for construction of national highways throughout the India. So this is the various central government organizations are so formed to help for the construction of the roads throughout the India, and then the proper road network is going to be constructed. Proper and efficient road network is going to be constructed by the help of CRRI, help of IRC, and help of National Highway Authority of NHAI. So after understanding that the JICAR committee and recommendations, so then the another one next is going to be called as the classification of the roads. So I want to go for the construction of a road. First of all, I have to know about that what are the various classification of the roads, understanding that the types of the roads, then we can go for the planning and construction and maintenance of the roads. Classification of the roads first is going to be called as based on season. Based on the season, so the roads are going to be classified based on the season. The roads are classified. The first one is going to be called as all weather roads. And second one is going to be called as fair weather roads. So first classification is going to be called as, it is going to be, the objective is that when it is going to fulfill that the seasonal variation for the various seasons, it has to be fit. So then the roads are going to be classified as all weather roads, and then is going to be called as fair weather roads. So what is meant by the all weather roads? What is meant by the fair weather roads? The term itself is going to be giving a meaning that all weather means the road is going to be constructed, is going to be suitable, and it is going to be long lasting for any season. That is the winter season, or so rainy season, or summer season. Winter as well as summer and rainy season. So that will be the facilities are that will be giving the services throughout the year. Services is going to be throughout the year. Then it is going to be called as all weather roads, even for summer, even for winter, even for rainy. Because the season, why they mentioned the season is that one, in winter it is going to be very cold. How it is going to be, so the road is going to be giving the services. In the summer, high temperatures are there existing in the prevailing conditions. How the road is going to be giving the services. In the rainy season, because of the rain, so the heavy downpour or the rainfall, how the services is going to be given by the road. Because every chances will be there. The road is going to be deteriorated depending upon the seasonal variation, because of the cold or because of the high temperature and because of the water stagnation. The services of the road or the level of service is going to be varies. So that's why it is going to be, so the road is going to be giving the services for all the seasons. Then it is going to be called as all weather roads. Then the another one is going to be called as the fair weather roads. Here the road is going to be giving services all the seasons except in the monsoon period. That's why we are going to be called as fair weather roads. Monsoon, or we can say that the rainy season. Rainy season is not going to be giving the services. It is going to be affected by the heavy downpour or the heavy rainfall, because all the causeways is going to be overflowing. So the road is going to be deteriorated. Somewhat is going to be deteriorated, is not going to be providing the services where overflow of the water taken place on the road. In remaining case, if we take the all-weather roads, there is no overflow is going to be taken place in such a way that the road is going to be constructed. That's why we are going to call it all-weather roads. It is going to be giving the services for any season, either winter or rainy season, or it is going to be called a summer season. But fair weather roads, it is going to be giving for the services for the winter, it is going to be giving the services for the summer, except in the monsoon period. That is the rainy season. It is not going to be giving the proper services. So because the causeways, wherever the causeways we are going to be provided, means the overflowing of the water going to be taken place. So then the road is going to be inundated, and the road is not going to be providing the proper services, appropriate services. That's why we are going to call it fair weather roads. Weather is going to be fair, then only the services is going to be, we can able to extract it. If the weather is going to be disturbed, so because of the rainfall, so the road is not going to be providing the appropriate services. That is we are going to call as fair weather roads. Then the classification of the roads based on the carriageway. So the classification of the roads based on the carriageway. Carriageway means we are going to call it as the road transportation, width of the road that is going to be so necessary to go for the roadway vehicles, roadway vehicles, that we are going to call it carriageway. Here also we can say that the term itself is going to be giving you meaning carriageway. It is going to be carrying the roadway vehicles. Means the road is going to be surfaced or unsurfaced. And what is the width of the road is going to be available. So based on that one, the road is going to be classified. That we are going to be called as single lane roadway. And then it is going to be called as multiple lane roadway. Single lane roadway and multiple lane roadway. So we can call it a single carriageway and multiple carriageway. Single carriageway means this is the single carriageway. Multiple carriageways. So only this is the width of the road available for the vehicles. Only that's why we are going to call a single lane or single carriageway. So here only the width of the road is almost 3.75 meters. Width of the road is here the 3.75 meters. Here width of the road is 3.5 and 3.5. Means we are going to using for one direction of vehicles, another direction of the vehicles. Here, so the two-way traffic is going to be allowed. Here is only one-way traffic is going to be allowed. Here also two-way traffic is allowed, but it is width of the road is going to be very narrow. If both the two-way direction or one-way direction is going to be taken place, one-way traffic and two-way traffic is going to be taken place in the single carriageway. This is single carriageway, and this is called, we are going to be called as a dual carriageway or the multiple lane. So the two roads are separated by the median, that we are going to call as dual carriageway or multiple lane. And single carriageway or the single lane, only width of the road is available is going to be called as 3.75 meters. Here the width of the road is available. One side is 3.5 meters, other side is going to be 3.5 meters. The two lane will be available are dual carriageway. This is single carriageway and this is dual carriageway available for the movement of the vehicles. So here the more safety concern will be there. Here there is safety concern is less because width of the road is very narrow. So the two-way or one-way traffic is taken place. So then every chances are there for the collision of the vehicles. But here the collision of the vehicles and overtaking is safe. Here the collision of the vehicles and overtaking is dangerous. So that is we are going to call it based on the carriageway. The roads is going to be classified as single carriageway and dual carriageway. So the classification of the roads based on the surfacing provided. Based on surfacing provided. So here we are going to be called as paved roads, and another one is going to be called as unpaved roads. Based on surfacing, we are going to be called roads are going to be classified as paved roads and unpaved roads. What is the meaning of paved roads? The term itself is going to be giving you meaning paving. Means the surface we are going to be provided. Here the paved roads, the surfacing we are going to be provided with the bitumen or cement concrete. It is going to be paving. The top surface is going to be laid with impermeable layer. Impermeable layer by using the bitumen. Earlier we are going to be called as tar roads. Now the tar roads are not available. So is going to be outdated one. Now the tar roads is going to be replaced by the bitumen. This is going to be called as petroleum compound. So the petroleum composition, bitumen is going to be called as the waste product from the petroleum refineries. We are able to get it that we are going to provide as impermeable layer, not the permeable layer. It is going to be called as impermeable layer. The water is not going to be percolated into them. So that's why we are going to call impermeable layer. We are going to provide it by using the material we are going to call it bitumen. Then we are going to be called as bitumen roads, or sometimes we are going to be called as black top roads. Black top roads we are going to be called as bitumen roads. So that is paving we are going to be provided. So bottom or the ground surface is going to be called a foundation course. We are having that the existing soil. Then above that we are going to be provided with that the coarser fraction. Coarse aggregate we are going to provide. Stone aggregate we are going to be rolled. First one is going to be called as natural occurring soil. We are going to be rolled. Above that one we are going to provide with the aggregate. Stone aggregate we are going to be rolled. Then above that one, we are going to provide the surfacing. That's why based on surfacing, the roads are going to be classified as paved. The paving is going to be done by using the bitumen material. So the top layer, we are going to be provided with the bitumen, or that we are going to call a blacktop surface roads. Bitumen road we are going to provide as impermeable layer. Then another material we are going to be using is going to be called as cement concrete. So cement concrete roads, we are going to call as cement concrete roads. Here also soil. Above that directly we are going to lay that the cement concrete slab. Laying that the cement concrete slab. We are going to call as cement concrete roads, or we are going to call as cement concrete pavements. Bituminous pavements or the bituminous roads or blacktop roads. And another one is going to call as cement concrete is going to be provide the surfacing. So surfacing our topmost layer we are going to be covering with the cement concrete. That's why we are going to call it cement concrete roads. The topmost layer of the road construction we are going to be paving with the bitumen. That's why we are going to call it bitumen roads or blacktop roads. So this is based on the surfacing is going to be called paved roads. Then the another one classification we are going to be called as unpaved roads. Unpaved roads means as it is by using that earth roads. And we are going to be called as WBM roads. Earth roads and WBM roads we are going to be called as unpaved roads. Means we are not going to be provided their top surface. We are not going to be paving. We are going to be leaving as it is. Earth roads means that is almost all we are going to be called village roads or soil roads. Directly, so on the soil, above the soil, natural occurring soil. So the road is going to be prepared and the road transportation is going to be taking place. That we are going to be called the earth roads. The best example is that almost all in village roads is going to be called the earth roads. So then another is going to be called as WBM roads. In some cases, we are going to call it district roads. If you go to the higher category of the roads, village roads is the lowest category of the roads. If you go for the higher category of the roads, is going to be called WBM, water-bound macadam roads. WBM is going to be called as water-bound macadam roads. Water-bound macadam roads. How the construction is going to be taking place here is that so the having that the earth layer or the natural occurring soil. Above that one, we are going to provide laying that stone aggregate, and we are going to roll. So then we are going to allowing that the road traffic that is known as the water-bound macadam road. Water-bound macadam road. We are going to be spraying the water, and we are going to be rolled enough, and we are going to be well compacted. So that we are going to be called as water-bound macadam road. Some of the villages or some of the district roads completely we are not going to be covering with the surfacing like bitumen, or we are going to be not covering with the cement concrete. We are leaving as it is and the traffic is going to be taking place. So that we are going to be called as unpaved roads. We are not going to be paved. So examples are earth roads and WBM roads, waterborne macadam roads coming under the classification of the unpaved roads, because this is all so where the traffic volume will be very less, where the traffic volume will be very high, then it is going to be done with the paving that we are going to call it as paved roads. Bitumen roads and cement concrete roads are so we are going to be designed for heavy traffic, and that are all we are going to call as impermeable roads. These are all permeable roads. If you take that the waterborne macadam road and earth roads are the permeable roads, it is water is going to be percolating into that one. So the road is going to be deteriorated very fast. In case of bitumen road and cement concrete road, the road is long life. They will be having deterioration is going to be less. Deterioration or the damage for the road surface is less. In the case of paved roads, in the case of unpaved roads, damage is going to be very fast after the construction. So then they are classification also one more classification based on traffic volume. Classification based on traffic volume. Here it is going to be called as high traffic, medium traffic, and light traffic. So based on the traffic volume also, the roads is going to be classified. So that is a high volume traffic or high traffic volume roads, medium traffic volume roads, and light traffic volume roads. That is in terms of vehicular traffic. If the vehicular traffic will be very high more, then we are going to be called as a high volume traffic, high traffic volume roads. If the vehicular traffic is medium, so there the classification is going to be given by Indian Road Congress. They are given some specification that what is the high traffic volume roads, what is the medium traffic volume roads, what is the low traffic volume roads, or the light traffic volume roads. So the IS given the various specifications. Based on that one, they are going to be classified into high, medium, and light or low. Light or low. Next is the classification based on load transported or tonnage. Classification based on load transport or tonnage. Here main thing is what is the tonnage. Tonnage is going to be transported per day. Based on that one is going to be called as class 1, class 2, or it is going to be called as class A or class B. So this is based upon the tonnage, based on the tonnage per day. So the roads is going to be classified class 1, class 2. Heavy loaded roads is the class 1. So the next one is going to be called as medium or the low tonnage is going to be transported. You are going to be designed as class 2. Because if the load is going to be very heavy, what is the total thickness of the road we had to be designed. So that's why we have to be categorized to the high, and other one is going to be called as medium and light traffic or light loaded or the low. So the low tonnage. If the low or the medium tonnage will be there, what is the thickness of the road we are going to provide it? Thickness of the various layers of the road we are going to provide such that the load is going to be transmitted to the various layers and it is going to be safe. If you are not going to be designed based on the tonnage or based on the load, the road is going to be got damaged very quick, or the distress or the damage is going to occur, or the road is going to be deteriorated because of the load. So the continuous or the we can say that the repeated action of the wheel loads on the traffic, if you are not going to be calculated or evaluated based on the tonnage or the load, the road get damaged very fast or very quick. So for that reason, they are going to be roads is going to be classified for heavy tonnage or the medium or low tonnage. The roads is going to be classified, and they are going to be designed various layers of the road or the various layers of the pavement itself. Next, the last classification is based on function, location and function. Classification based on location and function. Classification of the roads based on location and function. So they are going to be called as national highways, state highways, major district roads, other district roads, village roads. NH is national highways. SH is state highways. MDR is major district road. ODR is other district road. VR is village roads. So this is the classification based on location function. So the national highway, NH, SH state highways, MDR major district road, ODR other district road, VR village roads. So the classification based on location, what is the location will be there, how it is going to be functioning. So first one is going to be called as, first priority is going to be called as national highways. NH is the first priority. National highways. What is the importance of the national highways? When we can call it as national highways? So this is going to be starting from, it is going to be connecting that important important foreign country roads, state capitals, and the major roads in the country, connecting the ports, connecting the airport and as well as seaports and tourist places and commercial places in the country. So that we are going to call as national highways. First priority we are going to call as nation. So completely, so the capitals of the nation, capitals of the states, and the foreign highways that is going to be connected. In addition to that one is going to be connected with the major airports and major seaports, industrial places, and as well as commercial places. So that we are going to be called. So throughout the length and width of the country, the roads are going to be connecting, that we are going to call as national highways. So this is under the control of central government. Then this going to comes as the state highways. The state highways is within the state and it is going to be connecting with the district lower category of the roads and as well the higher category of the roads. It is going to be connecting with the national and it is going to be within the city, state, and then another classification is going to be called as district. So the state highways are within the state, the road is going to be connected various places, various state capitals, as well as the main major ports and seaports is going to be connected. That we are going to call as state highways within the city, and also it is going to be called as the district, and then the higher category of the roads of the national classification of the roads is going to be called national highways. Then we are going to be called as major district roads. Major district roads. So this is going to be connecting the state highway and as well as the district. Within the district and the state highways as well as the lower category of the roads is going to be called other district roads. Means each the level of the road is going to be connected and it is going to be giving the passage to the finally it is going to reach us to the national highway. We have one link to other link. We are going to be linkage we are going to be provided within the district is going to be connecting all the roads. Then it is going to be called next level of the road is going to be called a state highway. This is going to be entry to the state highway. And within the district itself is going to be covering is going to be called a major district road. What are the roads that are not going to be connecting? Remote places will be there. That is going to come from the other district road, ODR. Within the district, very far away from the districts. So that is going to be connecting. The roads we are going to provide is going to be called other district roads. Finally, we are going to call as village roads. Means so the lower category of the roads is going to be called as village roads. This is going to be called a district headquarters and taluk headquarters roads. All the lower connectivity of the roads is going to become some of the village roads within the village, and the above that one district, the connectivity you provide the district. It is not directly connecting to the national highway. It is not going to be directly connected to the state highway. Only linkage we are going to provide with the district and the village. So district is going to be connected to the major, and major is going to be connected to the state, and state is going to be connected to the national highway. So this is we are going to be called as a hierarchy will be there. Higher category is national highway. Then it is going to be coming to the state highways, major district roads, other district roads, and village roads. So this is we are going to be called a classification based on location and function. So starting with the lower category is the villages, where we are having that all market centers and various places we are going to be connected. From there we are going to be collecting and we are going to be entering into the district, and from that district we are going to be entering into the state. From the state we are going to be entering into the national highway. There is no straight approach to the national highway. So from the village road, it has to be stage by stage, it has to be entered. So that's why we are having national highway. In the road, while you're going to be traveling on the road, we can able to see that the signboard NH1, NH2, State Highway 1, State Highway 2, like that. NH1 is going to be called as New Delhi, Ambala, and Amritsar is the National Highway 1, NH1. So they are going to be giving that the numbers with respect to the national highways. Similarly, the state highways, they are going to be giving the numbers. Major district road and other district road, village road doesn't have any numbers. Only state highway and national highway only we are having given the numbers. Each number will be having that significance or the importance as well as the meaning. What are the places that is going to be connectivity will be there. So that is going to be given by NH with the number. Similarly, state highway with the number, the connectivity of the road we can able to identify it. Or from the map, so the geographical map, we can able to understand that what is the national highway 1, what is the national highway 2, similarly state highway 1 and state highway 2, what are the places that is going to be connectivity. So this is the classification of the roads based on location and function. So now, we understand that historical development, what is the Jacob Committee and the recommendations, what are the classification of the roads, and what is the importance of Jacob Committee recommendations. After classification of the roads, so next part 2, we are going to be discussing about that the 20-year road development plans. What are the various development plans to develop the roads in the phase wise, then the road patterns. So then after that, so what is the various alignments and various surveys that will be needed to go for the construction of the roads. So with this today, for this part 1 session, we are going to be concluding with the classification of the roads. In part 2, we are going to be starting with other parts of the road patterns as well as the road development plans, alignment, factors affecting alignment, and the various surveys that we are going to be discussing in the part 2.